I got a call from my friend Clay. He said, "Hey man, you want to play a couple shows with us?" I said, "Yeah, when?" He said, "Next week. 90 minutes. Are you in?" And I said, yeah. So now 90 minutes normally for a set wouldn't be that big a deal for most musicians. It's just that I have a lot of other things going on too. This channel, my family, and other work commitments. I thought, wow, where am I going to get the time to learn these songs well enough to play with this band? So I put together a series of steps that I wish I had when I first started playing. It would have made it so much easier. I would have felt very much prepared for any show that was coming up. First thing you want to do when you get contacted to play a set and you say yes, what songs are they playing? What's the set list? A lot of times you think you get the set list, but you get an abridged set list or last week's set list or a set list that someone else sent. Make sure that it's the final set list. You don't have to be a jerk about it, but it's like, is this the final set list? Is this everything? Is there anything else I'm missing? Second thing you need to find out is what versions of these songs are you playing? Live version, the demo version, is it an original song? Oh, I should have double checked because I've been practicing for the last 2 weeks or whatever it is, the wrong version of the song. Then finalize the keys. What are the keys of these songs? That differs sometimes between live version and you never know. You just want to double check. Or are they transposing it to a different key for the singer? And when you find out those keys, write it down. The reason for that is when you write something down, you're going to remember it better than typing it. If your set list gets damaged or whatever happens, it's all up there. Now you got the songs, you got the key. Now what are the guitar parts? At this point, I hope that you understand the chart of the song, the form of the song, like verse, chorus, or whatever it is, right? You know the chords to that, but what are the guitar parts within those songs? So are there lead lines? Are there solos that you have to play note for note? Are there weird intros that require a lot of guitar gymnastics? Like what is it consist of? If there's multiple guitar parts per song, ask for clarification on which part they want you to play. And then lastly, what do these parts consist of sonically? Do they require a special amp, a special guitar, a special pedal, a special technique so that you can recreate it? And all these can be addressed, hopefully, with the gear that you own, right? You never want to play a gig that you have to buy stuff to make the gig. Let me go through the signal chain here. So this was a dance and funk band, okay? So I needed to have a compressor, I gotta have a boost, and I gotta have a chorus. I didn't have a chorus, but I had a flanger, which you can make sound like a chorus. I didn't know like this until 2 weeks ago. Right now I'm using my Iridium with the stock Blues Junior cab because I was playing my Blues Junior at the show. Flanger. There were a couple that required some Marshall drive, and there were a couple that required a light drive, and that sometimes I would use that for a solo boost. And then I brought my Magma 57 because there was one song, Tyrone by Erykah Badu, that it's fit in perfectly with, especially with the guitar, the part that I was supposed to play. And then obviously I had my Flint for reverb and tremolo, and then the Iridium was my backup in case my Blues Junior died on stage. I could just run it to front of house. In terms of priority, there's so many things to learn, right? You have to learn the parts, you have to learn the rhythm, you have to learn the keys, all these things. So how do you prioritize? Start with the things that you absolutely cannot mess up, the guitar parts that make or break a song. And I know that sounds like, wow, it's all on me. There's a lot of songs that start off with a guitar riff, and if the crowd hears it played incorrectly, even if they're not musicians, they'll be like, that's not the song. That's a weird way to play the song. And you'll feel the energy deflate out of the room because you messed it up. So find out those parts that you cannot mess up and start with those. You don't need to practice. You don't need to practice that. That's not a part that you'll mess up. Practice the weird stuff. You're like, whoa, if I mess this up, it's bad. Now, these parts don't actually have to be hard. It's just parts that are really important to the song. So one was pick up the pieces. It's just that opening riff. The only thing I had to make sure, one, I was playing the right notes, which was that, right? The next one I really had to practice was the opening lick to Clean Up Woman by Betty Wright. It's not a hard part either, but it's very specific. Oops. I already messed it up. It's not a hard part. F triad, D minor triad, F triad, G minor triad, F triad with the 3 on the bottom, right? But I had to make sure I got that groove right. The groove is completely decided by what I was playing, right? And at first I was playing with the pick, and listen how different it sounds. Way too much attack, right? I was like, wow, my guitar is like jumping all over the place. And I listened to the track again, and you almost hear nothing in between those notes. It's like that guy had to have been finger picking it. Does that really matter in the grand scheme of things? It was like, wow, he's playing Cleanup Woman wrong. Like, yes and no. If you're a professional, you have to take things professionally. And then that point is like, every note counts. Just like a professional artist would think, every inch of my canvas counts. It's trying to say something. So every note counts for a musician. It's hard to get that groove for me. I realized my right hand is not in shape, which brings me to the third song that was just impossible for me to get right. It's a song called Hang Up Your Hang-Ups by Herbie Hancock. And it was an album I listened to a lot as a child. And the opening lick is this guitar part that goes like this. And it's just you for 8 bars. No, 16. You go through that 4 times. Just you. And then hi-hats eventually come in, but you're bringing that song to the crowd. You're bringing it to the band. You're bringing it to the crowd. During the rehearsal, my thumb got way too tired to hold on to the pick because that's like a 7-minute song. And it's just that lick. I had to come up with a solution. My solution was a thumb pick, which fits on your thumb like this. This was a compromise. And as an artist, you're constantly doing this, right? The compromise was it's a little bit chunkier and a little bit harder to get that good kind of but I knew I was not going to drop the pick. 7 minutes of a song, like I'll sacrifice like perfect feel if I don't drop a pick. I got all my parts done. I found out the parts that I cannot screw up. What are your backups? For my main guitar, I went with my Schecter. I love this guitar. It's got 2 Fralin unbuckers in it. It does humbucker tones. It does great single coil tones. I did a video on it, but it was a perfect guitar. It was comfortable to play, and it got me the sounds that I needed. The reason I didn't go with the PRS Custom 24 is because funky sounds sound better with a bolt-on neck, in my opinion. My backup guitar was my G&L Legacy. I had my backup for my amps is my Strymon Iridium. I'm set. Now for practice, my parts are important, but my opinion is not important because I haven't been there, I haven't done enough. I'm a new guy. Like, just go in and find out what their flow is and try to bring as much value as possible. And the best value you can usually bring during band practice is listen, pay attention, and be ready. All the players in this band are serious. Most of them are Belmont graduates, so they have like a heavy jazz background, heavy composition background. Almost all of them are working pros and are sidemen and session people for, Nashville at large. So it was awesome to play with really talented musicians. Put a little bit of pressure on me, but that took a little bit of pressure off because this is like their fun gig. They put this band together so they didn't have like the rigorous demands that they normally would have. At the practice, find out, okay, who's kind of running things here? Who's in charge? If there's a musical director, obviously you've probably been talking to that person, but if not, introduce yourself and then play. Play and be ready. Sometimes they want to go, hey, this song, 2, 3, 4, boom, get ready to play. So just be prepared, know what the songs are, know the keys, don't be fussing around with your pedals and your knobs. Have that ready to go. Know what pedals work for which song. Like maybe you can try out little stuff here and there, but kind of have in your mind what you want to be playing. Don't go in like blind, like I'll figure it out on the fly. Very few people are that good. After you do go over the songs where like your guitar was like front and center, ask for feedback. Say, is there anything you want me to change? They'll probably say no because they're thinking about other stuff, but it's letting them know that you're open to other things, letting you know that you're open to critique and you're open to changing things. The second thing you should ask, especially if you're a guitarist, is, am I playing too loud? A lot of guitarists play too loud. Now, you're probably not because you're a pro, but sometimes you are. Sometimes people have tinnitus in the band. Sometimes people just don't want to hear that much guitar. And sometimes your amp is facing at some unfortunate person, right? Like where it's like they're just like right in the line of your speaker. on the day of the show, as you're getting ready to go, there's two things. One, show up early or on time. On time is really usually pushing it. So like at least 5 minutes early, okay? Show that you care, show that you can deal with time. The second thing, do not get drunk. Do not get drunk. I cannot tell you how many people have lost their jobs, lost their gig, lost the whatever it is because they got drunk at the show before they went on stage. Do not do it. That's the number one reason they will not call you back. So if you really got a drink, just save it till after the show. And don't do it in front of people you don't know yet. You don't know if, like, what if they're sober? What if they're like they don't like hanging around drunk people? Like, I mean, I don't like hanging around drunk people. And I was a bartender for like 8 years. So if you're struggling with addiction, if you're struggling with substance abuse problems, like, please try to fix it. Like, your life will improve. I guarantee it. You're not alone. People are rooting for you. Just a quick aside. And I can't touch on the subject without saying that you can do it, but you gotta take that first step. Okay, take that first step, fix it, and you will be thrilled that you did. Everyone will be happy for you too. That's the other thing. Everyone will be so happy that you beat it. Okay, moving on. You showed up on time. You didn't get drunk. Get packed in quickly. Okay, set it up. Introduce yourself to the rest of the band. Say, hey guys, thanks for having me. Da da da. While you're playing, look around, and not just at the band. Look at the crowd. This is show business, so look out there, smile. If they're grooving, like, and they're dancing, especially if it's a dance band, dance back. If you don't know how to dance, just tap your foot or bob your head. If you're a musician, you should be able to bob your head. And then look to the band, right? Find out who is like the person that's going to be giving you like nonverbal cues. Song's about to end. They're calling for it to stop. They're calling for a hit. They're calling for whatever, right? They're doing things with their hands, or they're doing things with their eyes. Look for the person who's kind of calling the shots. Find them, okay? And anytime there's like some ambiguity, just give a quick glance. Don't stare at them. Quick glance. And then the last time, try to find the groove with the snare, right? The bass drum is usually too big of a sound to find the right groove. The hi-hat's too splashy and washy, right? Find that snare. This is important for everyone. Probably the most important thing. What did you do right? What did you do wrong? And did you learn anything? There's a lot of things I did wrong. My soloing. There's one part where I did have a solo. I wasn't expecting it because I wasn't prepared for that. Amateur. I took a bad solo. Like, I couldn't get it going. Number two, I need a higher headroom amp. Like, the Fender Blues Junior I was only on like 6, but I could feel it breaking up already, and I really wanted a nice, clean sound. I'm just like not in groove right hand wise. Like, I got to work on my right hand rhythm. If I get called to more and more gigs or more session stuff, like, I'm going to have to start working on my right hand just like 30 minutes a day. It's good to assess that. Like, where do you sit? What is the stuff you need to work on? Now, things I did right, I locked in. I felt like I really locked in a lot of times. Number two, I didn't screw up any of the big parts, which is really important for the rest of the band. Number three, didn't get drunk. That's always good. Showed up on time, got great parking. Like, I nailed it. That's cool. And then everyone seemed to like my presence within the band. That's good. You can get a read after the show. People say, hey, man, great show, a lot of fun. Or, yeah, man, hey, like the nod. One is good, one is bad. And if you don't know the difference between the two, I'm very sorry. But there's a difference between great show, man, and nod. I really wish I had this video when I was younger to tell me, hey, Alex, these are things you need to prepare for your show. Now, there's other things that helped me too for the show. Being able to play up and down the fretboard and not get lost, and being able to hear things quickly, hear changes quickly. I made a video about these kinds of things here, and if you're a beginner guitarist, I highly recommend you check it out.